Imagine having $26 billion and then losing literally all of it in less than a week. That's exactly what happened to Sam Bankman-Fried, who went from crypto king to federal prisoner so fast it made people's heads spin. Elizabeth Holmes had a $4.5 billion net worth and ended up in prison owing more money than some countries make in a year. These people had more money than entire nations, yet somehow managed to go completely broke. Here's why billionaires go broke, explained like you're 5 years old. And trust me, it's wilder than any soap opera. Let's start with the most insane billionaire collapse in recent history. Sam Bankman-Fried's spectacular faceplant. This guy wasn't just rich, he was, I could buy Twitter and use it as a digital notepad, rich. In November 2022, SBF was worth $26 billion and living like a tech emperor in a $40 million Bahamas penthouse. His company FTX was valued at $32 billion and processed over $1 trillion in trades. The dude was so powerful that politicians lined up to take selfies with him, and he was throwing around $40 million in political donations like confetti at a parade. But here's where it gets juicy. SBF was basically running a sophisticated shell game. He was taking $8 billion from FTX customer accounts and using it to cover his hedge fund's gambling losses. It's like borrowing money from your mom's purse to play poker, losing it all, then borrowing more to try winning back the first batch. Except instead of losing your allowance, you're stealing from 1 million customers. When crypto prices crashed in November 2022, everything unraveled faster than a cheap sweater. Alameda Research, his hedge fund, owed $8.7 billion it couldn't pay back. Within 7 days, literally 1 week, his entire empire collapsed. FTX filed for bankruptcy, customers lost $8 billion, and SBF went from penthouse to prison cell wearing shorts and flip-flops. The speed was mind-blowing. Monday morning, he was a billionaire. Friday afternoon, he was getting arrested in the Bahamas. He got sentenced to 25 years in federal prison and now owes more money than most countries' annual budgets. That's going from I own a private island to I share a cell with someone named Big Mike, in less time than it takes most people to plan a vacation. Some billionaires go broke because they spend money like they're playing Monopoly with fake cash. Mike Tyson is the heavyweight champion of bad financial decisions. Iron Mike earned over $400 million during his boxing career, enough to buy 1,600 Rolex watches or a small army of Ferraris. But Mike treated his bank account like it had infinite money cheat codes activated. He bought 38 luxury cars including Rolls Royces and Bentleys because apparently 37 cars isn't enough for one person. Here's the kicker. He owned 3 pet tigers that cost $70,000 each, plus $4,000 monthly in food. That's $200,000 per year, just feeding cats that could accidentally eat his dinner guests. His monthly expenses hit $400,000, which is more than most people make in a decade. He had a full-time staff of 200 people, threw $500,000 parties constantly, and lived in mansions with gold bathtubs. By 2003, Tyson filed for bankruptcy, owing $23 million. He went from $400 million to negative $23 million faster than he could knock out opponents. It's like having 400 PlayStation games and somehow ending up owing GameStop 23 more games. The man who could buy anything couldn't afford anything. Smart people say don't put all your eggs in one basket, but some billionaires apparently skipped that lesson and built entire chicken coops around one golden egg. Kanye West learned this lesson the expensive way. In 2022, Forbes valued him at $2 billion, but 75% of his wealth came from his Yeezy partnership with Adidas worth $1.5 billion. His entire financial empire was built on one sneaker deal. Then Kanye decided to become the world's most expensive Twitter user, posting anti-Semitic comments that made companies run away faster than people fleeing a sinking ship. Adidas immediately terminated their partnership, and Gap ended their deal, and Balenciaga cut ties. Within weeks, Kanye's net worth plummeted from $2 billion to $400 million, then down to $200 million. That's losing $1.8 billion in less than a month because of social media posts. It's like having 100 Pokemon cards and 90 of them suddenly disappearing because you said something really stupid at school. The lesson? When your entire fortune depends on one partnership, one tweet can cost you $1.8 billion. But here's the craziest part about billionaire failures. They happen in patterns that repeat over and over again. It's like watching the same movie with different actors. In the 1980s, Donald Trump lost $1 billion through over-leveraging and bad casino investments, filing for bankruptcy multiple times. In the 2000s, We had Enron executives who thought accounting rules were suggestions, not laws. The 2010s gave us Theranos and WeWork, and the 2020s, that's when crypto billionaires started dropping like flies in winter. The pattern is always the same. Massive ego plus unlimited access to money plus zero adult supervision equals spectacular disaster. These people start believing their own hype, thinking they're financial wizards who've cracked some secret code. But markets don't care about your ego. Investors don't care about your previous success. And gravity works the same whether you're worth $1 or $1 billion. The higher you climb, the harder you fall, and billionaires climb really, really high. Even Elon Musk learned this when his funding-secured Tesla tweet cost him $15 billion in one day and a $20 million SEC fine. Now here's where billionaires get really creative with losing money, by building their entire fortune on lies bigger than a politician's campaign promises. Elizabeth Holmes mastered this art form. Holmes convinced investors that her company Theranos could test your blood with just one tiny drop instead of filling tubes like you're donating to vampires. She raised $945 million by claiming she invented revolutionary medical technology. Her company was valued at $9 billion in 2014, making her worth $4.5 billion and the world's youngest female billionaire. Problem was, the machines didn't actually work. It's like selling lemonade by promising it's made from magical unicorn tears, but it's really just tap water with yellow food coloring. For years, she faked demonstrations, used fake lab results, and hired actors to pretend to be satisfied customers. The house of cards collapsed when a Wall Street Journal investigation exposed that Theranos was using traditional machines for most tests, not the revolutionary technology. Her blood testing devices were so unreliable, they gave random results. Basically, expensive medical magic 8 balls. By 2018, Holmes was charged with fraud. Her company shut down, and she lost everything. She got sentenced to 11 years in federal prison and owes $452 million in restitution. She went from Fortune magazine covers to federal inmate number faster than you can say, fake it till you make it. Here's where billionaires get dangerously creative. Instead of selling assets for cash, they borrow money using their assets as collateral. It's like using your PlayStation to borrow money to buy more PlayStations, then using those as collateral for more loans. Eventually, everything gets repossessed. Adam Neumann from WeWork turned this into an art form. WeWork was valued at $47 billion in 2019, making Neumann worth $4.1 billion. But the company was burning $3.2 billion annually, while making only $1.8 billion in revenue. Even kindergartners know spending $3.20 for every $1.80 you earn doesn't work. Neumann borrowed $380 million against his WeWork shares to fund his lifestyle. He bought 5 homes worth $80 million, a $60 million private jet, and invested in random companies like wave pools and artisanal mayonnaise. Yes, mayonnaise. Because apparently billionaires need fancy sandwich spreads. When WeWork's IPO failed spectacularly and the company's value crashed 80%, Neumann's collateral became worthless overnight. His loans were still due, but his assets were worth pennies on the dollar. WeWork laid off 2,400 employees while Neumann got pushed out with a controversial $1.7 billion golden parachute that investors fought to reduce. He went from $4.1 billion to about $450 million. Still rich, but lost 89% of his wealth because he treated borrowed money like free money at a casino. Sometimes billionaires don't do anything particularly stupid. The market just crashes and takes their paper wealth with it. It's like building the world's tallest sandcastle and then a tsunami hits. Masayoshi Son lost $70 billion during the 2000.com crash, going from $78 billion to $23 billion in 1 year. That's losing the entire GDP of Luxembourg because investors decided internet companies weren't worth infinite money after all. Mark Zuckerberg lost $71 billion in 2022 when Meta's stock crashed 64%. He went from $142 billion to $71 billion as investors realized the metaverse might just be expensive virtual reality nobody wants. That's like having 142 rare baseball cards and half of them becoming worthless because kids decided baseball wasn't cool anymore. But here's the crazy part. When regular people mess up financially, they might lose their car or move back with parents. When billionaires mess up, they lose amounts that could fund entire countries and sometimes end up in federal prison. Sam Bankman-Fried lost $26 billion in 1 week and got 25 years in prison. Elizabeth Holmes lost $4.5 billion and got 11 years behind bars. Kanye West lost $1.8 billion with a few social media posts. Mike Tyson spent $400 million on tigers and gold bathtubs. The lesson? Having billions doesn't make you smart with money. It just makes your mistakes more expensive, your falls more spectacular, and your mugshots more embarrassing. These people had buy a small country money and still managed to lose it all. So next time you think rich people are financial geniuses, remember that some of history's wealthiest people couldn't manage money better than a teenager with their first credit card. The only difference is their overdraft fees could fund NASA.